Hello and welcome back to Storytime at Nana's House. Always so very good to have you here with me. Book I want to share with you right now. It is out of the 5-Minute Stories collection, and this is published by my friends over at Cottage Store Press, who've given me permission to share this book with you now. So story number 1 we're going to read today, it is Pinocchio. Are you ready? Here we go. There was once a carpenter named Geppetto. One day, he was walking through an enchanted forest when he heard a voice. "Hello," it said. Geppetto looked around and soon realized that the voice was coming from a magic piece of wood. "Talking wood?" he thought. "That's unusual." Geppetto took the magic wood home and carved a little puppet boy from it. He gave the boy a suit of clothes and a hat with a feather in it. The wooden boy danced around the room for Geppetto and made him laugh. "Hello," he said. Geppetto named the boy Pinocchio. "You must go to school like the other children," Geppetto told him. So the next morning, Pinocchio skipped off to school on his wooden legs. As he went along, a cricket hopped up upon his shoulder. "You look just like you could use a friend," he told Pinocchio. "I will help you learn right from wrong." A little farther down the road, Pinocchio met a fox and a cat. They had heard the sound of lunch money jingling in his pocket. "Don't bother going to school," said the fox. "Come and play with us instead." Pinocchio, not knowing any better, thought that sounded like a good idea. But was it? "I don't think you're doing the right thing," the cricket told him. "You promised your father you would go to school." But Pinocchio paid no attention to the cricket. The cat and the fox led Pinocchio into a dark forest. "If you plant money here, it will grow into a money tree," they told him. "Just come back tomorrow and you'll see." "That doesn't sound right," said the cricket. "That money was for your lunch." But Pinocchio didn't listen. He dug a hole in the ground and buried the coins in it. Then Pinocchio went home feeling very hungry. He did not tell his father that he hadn't been to school. Uh-oh. The next morning, Pinocchio didn't go to school either. Instead, with the cricket on his shoulder, he skipped into the forest to find his money tree. But when Pinocchio reached the spot where he buried his coins, there was no money tree. He dug down to look for the coins he had planted, but they were gone. "The fox and the cat have played a trick on you," said the cricket. "They just wanted to get your money." Pinocchio felt rather silly, but he pretended he didn't care. He stomped off into the forest. "I'm going on an adventure," he said. The little cricket begged him to go back to Geppetto, but Pinocchio walked on and on until it was dark, and he was a little scared. Soon they came to a tiny cottage. Pinocchio ran to the door and knocked loudly. A pretty fairy with turquoise hair answered the door. "We're lost," explained Pinocchio. "Please, can you help us?" The fairy invited them in and gave them some food. "Why are you so far from home?" she asked kindly. Pinocchio did not want to tell her that he had disobeyed his father. Uh-oh. "I was chased by a giant." He lied. Suddenly, Pinocchio's nose grew a little. "The giant was taller than the trees," continued Pinocchio. So Pinocchio's nose grew some more. "And I ran into the forest to escape," he continued. and Pinocchio's nose grew again. He touched it in wonder. "I have put a spell on you," said the fairy. "Every time you tell a lie, your wooden nose will grow." Oh. Pinocchio began to cry. How he wished he had gone to school as his father had said. "I won't tell any more lies," promised Pinocchio. The fairy called some friendly woodpeckers who pecked at Pinocchio's long nose until it was back to the way it used to be. In the morning, Pinocchio rushed back through the forest with the little cricket perched on his shoulder. "From now on, I will do just as Father tells me," he said. But when he got home, Geppetto wasn't there. Instead, there was a note on the kitchen table.
"Dear Pinocchio, I have gone to look for you. I miss you, my son. Your loving father, Geppetto."
Pinocchio was very sad. He knew he had caused a lot of trouble. "We must find my father and bring him home," he sobbed. So he and the cricket set off once again. They began their search down by the river. Pinocchio stood next to the edge of the water and he fell in with a splash. The cricket jumped in to help him, but they were both swallowed by an enormous fish. There in the fish's tummy they found Geppetto. Pinocchio hugged his father tightly. "I won't leave you again," he said. The clever wooden boy took the feather from his hat and tickled the fish. Achoo! The fish gave a mighty sneeze, and Geppetto, Pinocchio, and the cricket shot back out through the fish's mouth and landed on the bank of the river. That night, when Pinocchio was tucked into his own little bed fast asleep, the fairy with turquoise hair flew in through the window. "You are such a good, brave boy," she said as he slept, and she kissed him on the forehead. When Pinocchio woke the next morning, he found that he was no longer made from wood. He was a real boy! From then on, he was always a good son to Geppetto and the best of friends with the cricket, who didn't need to tell him right from wrong ever again. And that's the end. Da-da-da. Oh my goodness. I hope that you enjoyed that story as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. It's time for me to go, but before I do, I'd like to encourage you to continue letting your light shine by being kind. Until next time, take care of yourselves. God bless you. And remember that this Nana right here loves you. Take care.